Hey everybody, it's Chanchai. I am sparring with VolcanoShed, and so check the volume. Let's check if we can hear it on. Redirect it to this device. Mic check. Yep, we've got volume. We're good. And we heard the rapid repeats. Okay, that's done. So anyways, yeah, we're gonna spar with VolcanoShed. I'm gonna eat my words earlier today. I wasn't thinking when I said it because VolcanoShed has improved a lot actually. Like he's gotten so strong, and so I don't really know how strong they are now. I'll find out today because you know I told Haste that I'm stronger than VolcanoShed. But that wasn't actually a good answer for what he was asking about. It's more that VolcanoShed tends to take a more patient approach and a more reading approach. So with that, the defense for Haste can feel a bit stronger, whereas my approach tries to really probe and tries to test everything out like a lot, like a whole lot. But VolcanoShed is a very strong Yomi-based player. Their reads are very good. We can't underestimate that. So we're gonna go ahead and join the room, and you know they might beat me up really good. We'll see, and if they do, that's fine because I love having a good Kage matchup. I saw that Y2D was recently playing with STL Tim, and so that's awesome too. You know, so this is gonna be wonderful. I have been loving all of my sparring sessions with VolcanoShed in recent times. So this will be great. We'll see how this goes. Alright, here we go. First to 20. Two first to 10s, I guess, is what it is. But Y2D being back is just wonderful to see them active. I always love fighting with them.
Ready, go!
I love this. This is... This is really good. Which direction was that? Can't see.
Round two. Ready, go! Knockout. Round three. Ready, go!
That's good.
Knockout.
Alright, tried to evade, that was a bad idea. Kage's half circulars actually have to be respected, so...
Ready, go!
Yep. I like that. This was an intense game, to be honest. He played that really, really well. This is going to get very, very scary. Gotta move my phone to charger. It's a little cramped on my desk. I need to rearrange my desk. But this was an awesome game. Okay. Let's go Volcano, indeed.
Knockout. Round 2. Ready, go!
Very good delay though. No, that goes fast in VF. It can be an hour actually. But usually it's about 2 hours.
Serious fight. Round 1. Ready, go!
I like that. That's it.
Knockout.
Good.
Round 2.
Good.
Ready, go! Knockout.
That was really good.
Round 3. Ready, go! Excellent. Round 4. Ready, go!
Oh, that was beautiful. That was really beautiful. That was cool. Excellent game.
Round 1. Ready, go! Knockout.
See? I thought I'm better.
Round one. Ready, go! Round two. Ready, go!
My time is here.
That's gonna be a down reaction.
Knockout.
Okay, good delays. The delays have a big weakness though.
Ready, go!
Good timing.
Knockout.
Almost. Really good use of space though.
Round four. Ready, go! Round five. Ready, go!
That was really good. This sequence is pretty awesome. This is an awesome battle.
Round one. Ready, go!
Let's see. That was really risky.
Knockout.
What do you mean? First to 20, no problem.
Ready, go!
I don't know the tone of Guibert's voice there, so. Anyways, I'll focus on my fight. Yeah. VF is fast.
Knockout. Round three. Ready, go!
I like that. Oh, that was brilliant.
Knockout.
That was cool. I see.
Round 4. Ready, go!
I really like the way he's playing. So good.
Knockout.
This was 1,000 years of pain right here, right?
Round 5. Ready, go!
Almost.
Knockout.
Really good. Good game. That was really good. I really love the way he's playing. So much fun.
Round 1. Ready, go! Knockout. Round 2. Ready, go! Knockout. Round 3. Ready, go! Knockout.
Forgot to train, eh?
Round 1. Ready, go! Knockout. Round 2. Ready, go! Excellent. Round 3. Ready, go!
Almost got the AK on this. I have a feeling it's gonna be the throw as opposed to the punch,
Round 5.
but too
Ready?
slow.
Go! Knockout!
I want a serious fight.
Round 1. Ready? Go!
I thought that would be that option. Very good.
Knockout! Round 2. Ready? Go!
That was really good.
Knockout!
Nice backdash and a side kick. Really good choice. I love this. This is a side kick.
Ready?
This backdash is what I meant.
Knockout! Round 4. Ready? Go!
Okay. Just having trouble getting. I was mashing. Had trouble getting some out. That was really, really good. Let's see here.
Round 1. Ready? Go!
That was good.
Up here. Keep home.
Knockout!
I'm wanting to try this throw, but I shouldn't. I should practice it in lab. I feel too badly.
Round 3. Ready? Go!
Good. I thought I got the uppercut right here. Thought I got it right in time to get the uppercut.
Round 4. Ready, go! Knockout.
Forgot to train, eh?
Round 1. Ready, go! Round 2. Ready, go! Knockout. Round 3. Ready, go!
Very good.
Knockout.
What a knucklehead!
Round 1. Ready, go! Knockout.
It's really good.
Round 2. Ready, go! Round 3. Ready, go! Knockout. Round 4. Ready, go! Knockout.
Really good
Round
conversions.
5. Ready, go!
My time is here! train, eh?
Round one. Ready, go!
That was an excellent round.
Round two. Ready, go! Knockout. Round three. Ready, go! Knockout. Round four. Ready, go! Knockout.
What a knucklehead!
Round one. Ready, go! Knockout. Round two. Ready, go! Knockout. Round three. Ready, go! Knockout.
Good game.
I want a serious fight!
Let's see. Okay. Let's see. All right, can you hear me? Okay. All right, I wasn't. Go ahead. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did you want to do it? Is there no? There's no 20 battle setting, is there?
No. Yeah, it only goes up to first to 10, so
Oh, okay.
just do another first to 10, and
Sounds good.
Well, and if somehow, if I win the next first to 10, then we'll have to just like keep track of the score. So I won 4 in that set.
Okay, sounds good. No, either way, it's good. All right. Good luck. Have fun. All right. Cables going all over the place. Okay, here we go. All right, that was a really fun first part. So far, the score is 10-4. Thanks for marking it down, Haste. That helps a lot.
Ready, go! Excellent!
Okay.
Round 2. Ready, go!
This is so much fun, though. But now I'm a little on edge. Let's see.
Knockout! Round 3. Ready, go! Knockout!
See? I thought I'm better.
Round 1. Ready, go! Knockout! Round 2. Ready, go! Knockout! Round 3. Ready, go!
And it's guaranteed because I blocked the first part on the side.
Knockout!
So it's a guard break setup of Kage's. If he gets to your side, he does that sequence.
Go!
My time is here.
Knockout!
Yeah.
Round 5. Ready, go! Round one. Ready, go!
That guard break sequence. I think I can stagger break that, but I gotta remember that that's a stagger. Well, stagger.
Ready, go! Round three. Ready, go! Knockout. Round four. Ready, go! Knockout.
What a knucklehead.
Round one. Ready, go! Knockout. Round two. Ready, go! Knockout.
So cool. That was like such an awesome conversion.
Round three. Ready, go! Knockout. Round four. Ready, go! Knockout.
Got it.
Round five. Ready, go!
No, really good. I just have to block this one still. What's on the crouch? Actually, I can. AK might whiff it. Actually, if I remember, it's a super crouch. Just block it, but still a lot of fun to mix up there.
Round one. Ready, go! Knockout. Round two. Ready, go! Knockout.
Almost.
Round three. Ready, go! Knockout.
Okay. So much fun.
Round four. Ready, go! Knockout. Round five. Ready, go! Knockout.
I want a serious fight.
Round one. Ready, go! Excellent. Round two. Ready, go!
This is the wall combo.
Knockout. Round three. Ready, go! Knockout. Round four. Ready, go!
it.
Knockout.
That was really good.
Round 5. Ready, go! Excellent.
Forgot to train, eh?
Hey Tech, good to see you here, Tech Bonus. We're doing first to 20. Right now the score is about is it 15 to 5, I think. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. VolcanoShed's really strong now.
Knockout.
They're not in our group chat, but they are. But they're definitely home. They're from Florida, actually.
Knockout. Round 3. Ready, go!
Yeah, in Ultimate Showdown there's, yeah. They should. This one has a limit at 10 though, so sadly we couldn't set it to first to 20. So it's a first to 10, and then this is the second first to 10. The original first to 10 was I won at 10 to 4, and so yeah. So right now it's about 16 to 5.
Round 1. Ready, go!
Almost spit that. That was because of them the weight though this time. Man, look at that wall.
Knockout. Round 2. Ready, go!
They were looking for that the whole time.
Knockout. Round 3. Ready, go!
Forgot to train, eh?
Round 1. Ready, go!
Nice. That was really good.
Knockout.
That wall game is so good. Not the wall game, the side game.
Ready, go!
this delay. This delay was perfect.
Knockout.
Okay. Let's get our execution back in order. We're starting
Round
to
three.
just get sloppy.
Ready, go.
They were.
Ready, go.
Oh. I'm glad I guessed correctly on the evade here.
Five. Ready, go. Knockout.
VirtuaFighter.com. VirtuaFighter.com. It's what we call Virtua Fighter for short. Sega did a wonderful thing by making a VFDC. They made two badges referencing VirtuaFighter.com, even though it's not an official site. It's not official. It's completely fan owned, but Sega lets the fans have the domain.
Round one. Ready, go.
Yeah, I think they were cool to do that. Alright, let's do this.
Knockout.
It won't let you run off that wall, so
Round
too
three.
far away too, but it's a dingle.
Go.
I'm so glad I pulled this shit off right here. Yeah. Really glad I was able to pull that off.
Ready, go.
I was trying to get... There's not enough space where I was hoping. Oh, that was close. I am getting tired of this stuff.
I thought I'm better.
I thought it was a crazy round too. Well, I think, you know, I respect Nintendo for holding the values it has and for holding firm on some things, but it definitely makes it rough for
Round one.
fans. Sega makes it rough for fans in the middle, though. Mainly by being way too Japanese also, or by being different. Oh, I thought I got that.
Knockout. Round 2. Ready, go.
That was perfect. That was a really good opening. Look at how much damage this is going to be. That was really good. That was a good call for the high jab. Oh my god, that's unfortunate.
Knockout. Round 3. Ready, go.
Good games. Good games, VolcanoShed.
I want a serious fight.
Should probably give him some time and let him call me, but yeah. Hey, alright. You able to hear me?
Hello?
Hey, thanks a lot for the battles.
Yeah, for sure.
No, those
That
were
was good
really,
practice.
those were a lot of really intense rounds and a lot of
Yeah.
good stuff. And I know that you're trying the more assertive approach. This was, I think, a little more aggressive than I'm used to seeing you being, and I think it's a good thing. So, but I think it's really good defense, and you always do have really good reads. I try to string you on the reads, but yeah, but no, but yeah.
Okay.
So how are you feeling? So-
Well, I kind of wanted to ask you, like, maybe, like, what you felt I was doing wrong, because I kind of felt like I couldn't really, like, get openings on you, especially in this first 10.
Okay. In the first set, your openings were really good. But it's not that they were bad in the second set either. But I think I did try to play around your opening plays a bit more. So I feel like your opening plays have been. I'm guessing you labbed some of like my typical openings, but the openings that would work is that if I did a more passive opening, that would work more. But I just have to but I just kind of had a feeling when if I did it a certain amount, then maybe you'd go more medium pace going forward, and so that's when I can do like uppercut again, you know. So you're talking about the opening itself, right? Just the first move. Is that what you're asking about? Or
Oh no, I'm like trying to open you up, especially
okay,
like near the wall.
yeah. So a player like me, your usual approach is actually the better approach for quote unquote opening me up, which is, and you are doing it, but it's usually you try to open me up with your defense, right? But your counter offense is part of that. But let me put this. I think Kage is good at pulling, meaning like it's good at fighting in a good flow and then just crushing a certain option. But today the thing I had in my mind was that I was going to try not to do too many low attacks against you, right? And I've had that in my mind for months, right? Like I think for the last few times we fought, I've always told myself just don't do low attacks too much. Like do them, but don't do them too much, right? Do it mostly because I think I'm going to get a counter hit, but don't really do it just to beat highs. Instead, I will do more like crouch dashing to try to beat your highs, right? And that's why you see me sometimes duck like a high and maybe sometimes low punch after it. But if I can do something better, I would. but sometimes I feel like I'm not catching it fast enough, so I'm like, okay, well, at least just do the low punch, you know. But then do a mix-up right away after the low punch. Now, technically, if someone's doing that to you, if they're using low punch like that, then technically you can actually fuzzy, like if you're sharp enough, you can just fuzzy guard attack when you know that you're about to get hit with the low punch, you know. That is a technique that Japanese use when they do strings with high attacks in them. Okay. In the beginning, right, like, and still through the end, some of the strings would consistently get me, but my mindset is I just tell myself to relax, but also tell myself to try to just use it as an opportunity to try to beat it, or try to do different ways to beat it. So to open me up is a little tricky. I think to open me up, usually you got to kind of throw me a bit, and I think you did throw me. It is kind of hard because, you know, I'm going to try to deny the forward throw like a lot, but I will try to mix in neutral and back if I really have a strong feeling you're going to go for that. But usually it's just trying to deny forward, even on this stage, because I don't want to get, you know, like you saw how much damage you did to me at the wall, right? I'd say obviously the biggest critical factor for you winning a round was if I was taken to the wall, because your conversion rate is a lot higher now. It's a lot higher than even the last time we fought. And there was just a few things that get... I think I am able to mess with your Okizeme a little bit. But the way I do that is by changing trying to change the timing a lot. So if you're using an attack that doesn't have like 5 hit frames, then that can be like... Then it's possible for me to kind of mess it up a little, right? By doing Ukemi a little soon and then doing Ukemi a little late, right? And just making sure that it's like that you don't have a good you're not feeling comfortable with your Okizeme, but your Okizeme is actually very good. But there were a few times where it misses, right? I would say one of the consistent areas that you do get hit, and it can cost you at the end of the round. So understand, this is an advice about this advice is about the end of the round. It's not about the normal match.
Okay. End of the round. Okay.
At least in online environment, you have a difficulty blocking the correct rising attack. And so the problem is when you put so it's going to be hard to do this, but it took me a while. But you have to find a way to fight in a way which you're not going to be like up against the wall and they're knocked down and going to do a rising attack against you. Like at the end of the round, you know, you just have to consider that at the moment, your skill will get there. You will be able to eventually block all of them almost on reaction. I believe you're going to get there. But in the meantime, though, the risk factor is higher. And so for you, it's not so much that you have to avoid this all the time. That's not the advice. The advice is you just have to make sure that if your life is really low to where a rising attack is lethal, you got to try to minimize that happening. And sometimes it's going to happen. That's okay. But it happened like a lot today, you know, or it felt like a lot. I felt like I won a lot of rounds where I just did a rising attack and it killed you, you know? And so that's why it stands out to me. And again, the advice is not to be afraid of this. The advice is not to avoid this in the middle of the match. The advice is just when it's lethal. It's kind of like how this year I had to train myself on don't try to throw so much when my life is low, right? Right? And you do it because the risk factor has become high, because now Abari is just lethal to you, right? Or them attacking you is just lethal to you, right? And so it's one of those things where it's like, just try to find a way to win with like attack spacing and a little throwing when you have a strong read. But it means that the threshold for the read has to be pretty high. If a small Abari is going to kill you, right? A big Abari is a different thing. But if it's a small Abari, then it's like, yeah, like if we're at like 10 health left, don't try to throw. You know, like try to avoid throwing is really the advice. It's like and I don't think that was a problem for you. So I'm just saying but it's related to the fact that in your case, you found yourself in a lot of situations where you have to defend the rising attack correctly. and so it backfires on you. You knocked me down. That's a good thing, but like a rising, but your health is where the rising attack would kill you. So and I think there were a couple opportunities. Just for me, there was a lot of opportunities to hit you off the ground more than, and I do still do it, but I could have done it a lot more against you today. And so you correctly stayed down a good amount because of how little I was doing that. And you, on the other hand, actually did a good job of hitting me on the ground in the second set. I thought you did that. I think, in my memory, I don't know, I have to rewatch it, but in the first set it felt like maybe you weren't hitting me off the ground. And then in the second set it felt like you were doing it quite a bit. So I thought that was great. If I flip it, because you were asking about opening me up, I think it's more about me opening you up in this second set. That was a factor. In the first set, I really feel like it throughout the whole set it was a very close battle, even if the score doesn't show that. I felt like we had so many intense rounds, and I still feel that in a lot of the second set as well. But I do feel that I can't say what it is consciously. It's something that I feel. But I had strong feeling like, okay, now I know how aggressive I can be, right? And I know, and it was more like I felt like I could crack you open, right?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking during the second set, man, I need to contain his Abari, but I also need to contain his evade, and then I also need to contain his backdash.
Yeah. So trying to contain backdash is a tricky thing, and I don't think you have to quote-unquote contain it. Okay? But I'll tell you what I think. Well, one, your backdash game is a lot better. You and Solari both have improved on your backdash games. And Punker, nice. For that matter. Punker, too. Punker has improved on their backdash game also. And, there's John. John already has a backdash game, but the way that they're using their backdash, I think Punker is more dynamic now. And this same for you. The first set, you can... If anything, if you want to say, instead of cracking me open, you opened me up with backdash in the first set. So in the first set, I felt like your backdash game was killing me a lot. And I think in the second set, I might be wrong, it felt like it was killing me a little.
I kind of felt that you adjusted more to my backdash later.
I did.
I was getting hit by your sidekick. I was like, oh crap. Okay, I guess I can't backdash as much.
So I think that's probably true, because I think what I did was, so I think that's why I felt I could be more aggressive against you, right? And I guess that's what my gut was doing was. In the second set, I was like, okay, now I'm rushing him a lot, and I think it's because I was murdering your backdash game. So but, now that I think about it, it's like, yeah, that's why I went ahead and went he blocked the move, and I still went and attacked him. I still dashed in and attacked, right? And then I got, I think it really became for sure happening when I dashed in and uppercutted you out of a backdash, right? Because that launched you and got you to the wall too. I think in the second set, if we watch it, we're gonna see moments where I literally move you from you pushing me against the wall, me taking you all the way to the other side of the ring. Because of the backdash dynamic. Now, okay, so having said that, so yes, there's a way to do it, but I do think Kage's tools, it's a little harder to do, but technically you could do the uppercut thing too. But it's a little hard. But it did feel like if your defense was a little more... I don't know. It's hard to tell you, of all people, how to defend more. That's not exact right. It just feels like maybe there were some opportunities that were better. But I also think I mixed my off... I think in the second half of the second set, I was mixing my half circulars a little better to get... to kind of get you to feel insecure about evading. So I feel like that's another way. So I cracked you open on your backdash game, and I think I cracked your evade game a little bit, not a lot, just a little, but enough to where I was cashing in on it and getting more profit from it.
I think I could have broken forward though more when my back was against the wall, because Leon has that combo started throw.
Yeah,
it messed me up.
And you did a really good job, especially in the first set. Like, you know that like I have that tech when you escape my forward throw, right? And but you did a really good job of fighting me when I did that in the first set too. So I think first set you had, I mean, I think it's clear you had a strong battle plan against me. But I think by the end of the second set, you definitely felt unsure about your battle plan. So, about the backdash, so yeah, one approach is to murder it, but you know that I've also advocated that you don't have to murder the backdash. You can just crouch dash in and watch what your opponent does, and you can crouch dash in and do an option. And you actually have good reflex skills. I think you, and if you don't, you're definitely building them. That I think you're able to crouch dash and make some judgment calls. In that, if you get used to crouch dashing into people that backdash more. And I think Kage has so many tools, right? Kage's got, of course, if you crouch dash in, then that means you're going to have uppercut instead of like standing 3P. But but then you could also like ECD at some points, or you can use movement. But Kage still has a lot of good ways to really nail someone. What is the best way for Kage to punish a whiffed high attack?
A whiffed high attack. Well.
Shortcut Dragon Punch of Doom? Just kidding.
Well, that would be like the most damaging way, but nah, that's too hard. I think
it's really hard.
I could probably do like a crouch into OPK, just like get a knockdown.
That one's really good. Practice that. Practice doing it after they whiff, like just immediately after they whiff, after the hit frames have passed. Because remember that if you cause them to whiff, even if it's not guaranteed, you're forcing them into a mix-up. So if it's a mid attack, that's a really good thing. And there's a higher chance of you nailing them with it. And especially I think that move also, like, it knocks me down, but also it messes me up at the wall, right? But then also down 2k plus G is also really good. So like for example, you crouch dash and you see a whiff, you see the last whiff. So if you see like Leon do 4k, and then you stay crouching and watch to see if he does P plus K. And if he does P plus K, you do something really nasty to him, like 2k plus G if they're near the wall. You know, that your wall game is really terrifying now. Your arena game is very scary. It really is. I just told myself I was going to try to let loose and like really go aggressive a bit on you with mixing in movement too, just to see if I can crack you at the wall, you know. And I think I started to in the second set. I don't think I did in the first set that much, you know. But then, you know, I got you thinking enough to where then it slows you down enough to where I can use guard break. So because Leon's guard break's very slow, so I have to really be confident that the opponent is really, really focused on guarding for me to use the guard break, you know. It's not like a Kira or a Lao where I can just bust it out of nowhere and they're just like, what the hell? You know? Yeah. But you nailed me really good with not at the end, but for 75% of those matches, you did nail me pretty good with like Shippuden guard break, and in the first half of our battles, you got me with Shippu stance stuff like quite a bit. I only remember maybe once or twice when you really nailed me on Jumanji, but Jumanji is still a really good stance. But I think at the end of the match, I felt like you're still hesitant to commit to something when you do Jumanji, but Jumanji is a full committed stance, right? It's like you can't really stay there too long, and and so it's like you have to just make a guess. Like if you decide to do Jumanji, you've already had to make a guess, right? You already kind of have to have an idea. Sure. This is what I'm going to do because I'm so sure they're going to do this the moment I do this. Because the problem with Jumanji stance, actually the problem in this game with Jumanji stance, is if the opponent blocks like the elbow, they can just elbow right back, and I don't think Kage can do anything. Like if they do it fast enough, I don't think Kage can do anything. So
yeah, Kage is -4 after the Jumanji.
Hello?
offend. Oh yeah, hello?
It's cut out, but I can hear you now.
Oh yeah, I was just saying, yeah, the Jumanji elbow, it's 4 on box. So if you try to hit like a 16 frame attack, he could 11 frame feed, but other than that, yeah, if you hit elbow, then he has to offend.
Yeah. Yeah, so for the Twitch audience, I'm right now I'm putting it on VFTV so you guys can watch some good matches while we chat. And look at this, we've got Paul 68 KDMD versus Owen Jeff. These two are some of the strongest players in North America right now. Owen Jeff has got a ridiculously strong Leifei, but also really good Eileen, but really strong Leifei and a really good Go. They're a friend of mine from over 10 years.
You telling me Owen Jeff doesn't play F3?
They probably do. They play a lot of characters. I've heard that they've been playing Lao lately too, so I want to see their Lao. But actually, I know that if I asked them to fight, we would be able to fight. They're such a good, they're a good friend. But yeah, and both these two players study a lot. To be honest, it is ridiculous how strong both these players are and how fast they got strong, because Paul started when Ultimate Showdown came out, and Owen Jeff started a little after Ultimate Showdown came out, because they learned Virtua Fighter from Virtua Fighter 5 Vanilla, which is nothing like Final Showdown. And when Final Showdown, and they were originally a Tekken player, and when Final Showdown came out, they didn't like it because it was so different from Virtua Fighter 5 Vanilla, so they didn't play Final Showdown. So all of their VF studying, but they chat with Japanese players, they can speak Japanese, and they take copious notes, they really study the game. And so it was 2 years ago they got strong, same time as Paul actually. So these two fighters, while they don't play each other as much, I don't think, they both have a lot in common in terms of how they study the game and play, and they are both really scary players, really good. Owen Jeff is a strong Yomi player, and he's always been good at Yomi. So like eventually you start watching him crack people, start figuring out a plan on how to beat them and what they're doing. Very smart that way. So I'm glad that he's also from the Pacific Northwest region. Definitely one of the strongest players in our region. And then Paul is incredibly strong, and but he just likes to play long sets with people, you know. And he's a strong advocate for, you know, for making sure your router settings optimize your connection. So, anyways, back to what we were chatting about. You go. I'll let you continue. So to resume our conversation. Sorry for that. Yeah, Paul's recent. Paul started about 3 years ago. Yeah, 3 years ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Paul got strong really fast. Like, I would say about 4 months. It was maybe sometime around a year in when I played them maybe in the second year of Ultimate Showdown, and they were just learning, but I can tell right away that they're going to become very strong, and the way that they think and the way that they keep trying to solve problems. They are the type. Paul's the type that is really min-max type, but I think they really embrace problem. But they also naturally were doing problem solving too, and so I think. I think a lot of people should be inspired because they are part of the Ultimate Showdown generation. And again, Owen Jeff, even though they come from VF5 Vanilla, for this game, they're part of the Ultimate Showdown generation because they didn't play Final Showdown. I'm so glad that they changed their mind and started to really embrace this game, and they really like it. But for a while, they were just they just didn't like that it was so different from Virtua Fighter 5 Vanilla. So they went back and were playing Tekken 7. So I think
it's kind of crazy to me, like how many like strong players only started with Ultimate Showdown. Like I think like Assassin and Bushido started with Ultimate Showdown, right?
Yes, those two started with Ultimate Showdown thanks to Rek. I think Rek is the one who got them into it, and then also Tengu Man is part of this new generation.
Nice.
I don't know which generation to classify Genesis Frenzy. I think they came in during the end of Final Showdown. But I still consider them a youngin, you know. But we have a lot of strong players, and we have a generation after Paul and after Jeff, right? And I think now we're getting even. Lately, I've been teaching a lot of people Virtua Fighter that have they're enjoying Tekken 8, but they're sometimes needing a break from Tekken 8, and then they end up really liking Virtua Fighter. So.
Yes. That's how you get them. That's how you get them.
Yeah. So, well, and I think well, it's ironic because you would think like the things that are driving them nuts about Tekken 8 sometimes would be things they might not like about Virtua Fighter, but they end up liking how it is in Virtua Fighter. So, you know. But I think what it ends up being is that in Tekken 7, even if the game is a much more defensive game, at least in that bigger neutral and that more defensive fighting thing, that it's there's an openness to it, right? Just like in Virtua Fighter, even though we're fighting up close, there's a robustness in the up close in this game. You know, and so maybe that's what it is. They realize this game does have a robustness, and for them, that Tekken robustness was when they were not being forced to be in each other's face all the time, right? So, you know, but in VF it happens when you're in each other's face, because in VF you have the most options when you're up close, on offense and on defense, you know. But the further out you go, the simpler it is. You're just kind of like, oh, this is sidekick range. There's not really much besides the mid, and I can probably react to the high, you know. And if it's a low, it's only a few things, you know. Like Leon is annoying because he's got a fast long range low, you know. Yeah. But what else were you feeling in our battle then? You were wanting to crack me open. You were trying to punish my backdash game. I thought you did. Okay, I'll tell you what adjustment I made on the backdash. During the middle of the first set, I told myself that I couldn't use backdash 4K against you that much because, well, one, you just weren't attacking sometimes, and two, sometimes you were punishing it, and sometimes you were doing a crouching attack or a 3P even. So I switched it up to backdash into 4-6K. But in the second set, don't be discouraged. There was a lot of times where I did backdash 4-6K and it just whiffed right in front of your face. If there's anything to say about that, I think you need to get comfortable of seizing the advantage when somebody whiffs in your face. So I think because a lot of times you just stayed defending, and I think you were kind of like, oh, I missed my moment. So, and I get that, but I think the next step for you is what do I do when they do whiff? Because you're in the realm of precision spacing now. And so precision spacing is a very different thing. This is when both players are precise with their spacing. Okay? You and I are both precise with our spacing now. You really are. And so you're in that club. And when you're in that club, well, there's a few things that happen. One, the number one for you is that you gotta now whiff. You need to train yourself to whiff punish when people miss right in front of you, and to see it. That's the number one, because the rest can come later. Okay, and then number two, it opens up crazy options like crouch backdash. The reason I use crouch backdash either against people that, mainly I use it against people that have good spacing or decent enough spacing. People that don't have good spacing might try to rush me, and then crouch backdash is terrible, right? But when people are playing it precisely on range, then crouch backdash is good, when it's normally the worst movement option in the game, you know. But it's really good when the opponent is precise and you are precise. Why? Because, what did I say earlier? We have the most options when we're close to each other, right? So if I can make you whiff, but still be really close to you, that's really good. But it's riding a fine line of risk and reward, you know? Because if I'm wrong, I'm so screwed, you know? So.
I think what I need to do maybe is, like, anytime I decide to block and I think they'll backdash, I need to, like, be ready for the possibility at the whiff. Because, like, I'm not like expecting them to whiff, but like, it's very possible if like they backdash and they do an attack. If I didn't do an attack, it's very possible that they can whiff. so I need to be ready for
So here's okay. Let's talk about opportunities, because there's a lot of opportunities you're really good at now that you've gotten so much better at, and there's a lot of opportunities that you are missing, right? That we're talking about now. So
yeah.
we'll talk about the opportunities that you're missing, because we don't really have to talk about the opportunities that you are going after. But
Yeah.
actually, okay, when there's a throw escape, you are now more opportunistic. You used to be very timid there. So now you're just like, you labbed it, you're like, okay, I know what to do. So like a throw escape is not a surprise anymore. So now you're like, okay, there's a throw escape, and this is what I do in this throw escape, right? So keep doing that. Not that you have to attack, but be assertive, whether it's attack or defense, but basically you keep the fight going, right?
Yeah.
And this is what you're already doing. So this is a big improvement from you, like from like a year ago. So now, whiff is one of them. You need to be very opportunistic about when people whiff. Okay. Here's a huge one. If you see your opponent roll away, you need to be greedy.
Round 3. Ready?
Okay? You need to be thinking, they just rolled back. So I'm gonna freaking guard them. Because if they do a rising attack, and I block it, they're minus 15. So you need to be very greedy about that, because I saw many times where I got away for free doing that, and it doesn't matter if it's small damage. I don't know what Kage has for that. I mean, if it's mid rising attack, then 4 PK or something, right?
Okay.
But like, but if it's low, I don't know. How fast is Dragon Punch? Is it 15?
It's
That's hard though.
technically 15 frames, but it has kind of like a complicated input, so I feel like it's gonna come out on frame 16
Okay.
if I try to do it as a punish.
Yeah, but whatever you think is gonna work there, just lab it out and just be very greedy about it. Being like, unless it's gonna kill you, as we talked about earlier. So unless the rising attack's gonna kill you, but you do need to start punishing people for rolling away and doing rising attack. And I'm not afraid to do it. When I see people constantly dashing, I'm actually not afraid to do it. I'm pretty greedy about that, and that's a lot of risk for a very low reward. So if you see somebody roll away from you, you get greedy and guard with greed. Be ready to get the minus 15 reward. Because
another option I could do is like if they do a back roll into a rising kick, it has more recovery, right? So could I just let it whiff and then?
Yeah, then you can K
punish
plus
instead?
G or
I think
whatever.
that would-
Practice it, yeah, practice it and do that. But
Yeah.
whatever the case is, if they roll away, you should be very greedy on Okizeme.
Round 2.
So, but I'm just saying that I saw you block and not do anything. So,
Yeah,
So,
I do think I need to get more comfortable with with doing Oki on people that roll backwards, because like I'm so used to like covering like in place rising attack or like side roll,
yeah,
that when they roll back I'm like, oh well crap.
right. But now you got to think, when they roll back, you're like, good. So right now, whenever they roll back, you got to be thinking good.
Yeah.
You've put enough pressure that they're doing that stupid thing. So, and then, but Akira's the exception. So in the case of Akira, you just try to evade his wake up kicks,
Yeah.
because you'll destroy him if you can do that. Like, it's such a big, it's a big strength to be able to do that to Akira. So, I can't do that yet. I haven't spent any lab time on it, and I should, because I love to evade punish. So I need to start doing that, because that's something that's left on the table. That's money on the table I'm not taking. But yeah. In the first set, I definitely felt the pressure from your wall game. Like, really good. It was really like I wasn't sure if I was gonna overcome it at all. I was confident that I could win the set. I just wasn't sure if I was gonna like how good I would get against your wall game. So I don't know if I solved your wall game or if or if you, the player, is the one that changed in the second set. I don't know. But I felt like that I was starting to get comfortable with challenging it, though.
For sure. No. Yeah. I definitely think that you were doing a pretty good job of like challenging my wall setups, or like
evading a lot of them too. Like,
yeah,
because
yeah.
But you know what? This is the thing, though. Even if I'm evading, just remember, Kage has a good half circular game. Like, it's to be respected, and it's very scary when you evade wrong against Kage. In the case of Leon, here's a trick I can tell you about Leon. Okay, so you know that, like, if you're evading to my back, the half circulars that I would have to use would be like 6P plus K, half circle forward P, 1P plus K, the low swipe, and 4-4P. Okay, or go full circular, right? But like 4-4P and 1P plus K are the only ones that are like really fast. But they don't really get me much, they just kind of chip you, you know? And it's a lot of risk for that small reward. But it's also, you can take those, but here's the point. If you get me, and I think you're already doing this, so if you get me to use like half circle forward punch or 6P plus K, they're so slow that like it opens me up to a barre. It opens me up to getting launched by your uppercut. You know? So, and I think you did that in the first set. Yeah. Right? Because I'm going way I'm going way a barre. I'm like on the deep end when I'm using those moves. Those moves are like well over 20 frames. They're really slow. So when Leon's doing that, that's Kage's like uppercut. You know, so you know, even if I do like low punch into that, I think uppercut would still launch me. So you know, so I'm giving you a secret there, which is this is why I need to be very strategic in using those moves. And my goal, and this is going to give away another secret. So I found that the more reliable way then to use half circle forward punch, the low swipe, is to use it like as like a whiff punish, or in a situation that's likely to be a whiff punish. It's really to try to use it in the mix-up. At some point, like and so today there was a moment where you just started going fast to barre, like shooting a lot of stuff, and for a bit it actually gave me trouble. But then later on I was like, oh, now I can freaking uppercut a lot again, right? So I do think that I think when I strategically adjusted, mixed up enough, I do think you got maybe, it feels like, I don't know for sure, it feels like you got like really discouraged from like getting back to it, right? Later. But, and I think that's usually when someone is thinking like, how do I solve this problem? How do I solve this problem, right? But the thing is Virtua Fighter fights are like a war campaign. They go through phases of battle. Right now we're playing, like right now he's playing, he's buffering. So evade is good. Okay, now I start to evade. Okay, so I'm evading and I'm evade punishing. But then, and so now he's got to do something else. Now he's gonna delay attack. Okay. So now he's delaying attack. So now I gotta kind of buffer back, or no, not delay attack. To beat the buffer, he's doing like ECD stuff. He's doing evade canceling. Why? Because he evades if I buff. You know, he'll get me if I'm fast, and he'll get me if I'm really slow. Right? Okay, so now do delay attack. Delay attack's gonna beat the ECD, right? And it goes in cycles, but it doesn't go just in that cycle. It goes in the spacing cycle too. Okay, backdash is going good. I'm beating him with backdash. Okay, now he's actually tagging me with sidekick. So now he's actually doing a barre. He's not doing a barre on purpose. He's doing a barre because he's trying to beat backdash. So now I got to just do uppercuts. Now I do fast, quick counter hit launchers, right? At some point, though, here's the point. The point isn't that we solve these problems just that. The point is at some point it loops back. At some point you go back to the moveset that was working like 8 games ago. So just remember that this thing, we're going through cycles. They're like seasons on the calendar. Okay? So we're making these adjustments, but when you take something off the table, it's not taking it off permanently. It's setting it aside for until it becomes really good again. And that's for every option that you do that has ever given you a good profit in this game. So, and I think if you think about these matches, you'll see that that's also what I did do, right? I was doing something that was really strong in the beginning. In the middle of our session, it stopped being good. So I kind of changed it up a little bit, or how I use it, or at least I changed the timing, right? And then by the end, I'm doing it again, right? And the hard part is, if you're looking at time like in this linear way, if you're looking at the fight in this linear way, you're going to get frustrated because you're only looking at it as like right and wrong, you know? But it's about timing. It's about when is the right time to do these things, and when is the right time to bring them back, and when is the right time to go to plan B and then C and then go back to D and then go to F and then finally go back to A. It doesn't go exactly in a full circle. It weaves in and out, and sometimes we just go straight back from D, we go back to C, or we go back to B. But it's because this game is all about fighting your opponent, right? And so, but when you have a strategic advantage, your role is to hold on to that advantage. Okay, so I think you play card games too. I think you're already familiar with life as a resource, right? Are you familiar with that concept? Yeah, have you heard about that, life as a resource? Okay, sounds like no. Okay, when you play any kind of game, any game that measures life, your life is a resource. The most extreme example of life as a resource is what we talked about earlier, where when rising attack can kill you, well, you should try to avoid putting yourself in the position where you're standing next to somebody that just got knocked down, and that you're not able to get away from that. Okay? That's because your life doesn't have a resource, because your budget's low. Okay, let's talk about a full life. We have a full life bar. You can go YOLO when you have a full life bar, but your budget will get constrained by how much your opponent deals damage to you. As you get closer and closer to lethal, you have less and less good options, or you have higher risks. You have more things that can kill you, that can take the round. So you do want to adjust for that. And so and you don't have to do it one way or the other. Your nature is to do it more defensively. Your nature is that I'm going to have strong defense, but at the very least, if they're beating your defense, then you can at least be building reads while that happens. So every hit you take, everything you experiment with. So in your case, you can like experiment with, how do I defend this way? Will this work more, right? But the thing is, you still have to get to the win condition, and you do have that now. Like you're good. You're at the point where you can ring people out. You're at the point where you can really wreck people at the wall. So now that's your win condition. Your life bar is now not so much your liability, it's your budget. It gives you the spending power to kind of, how do I get them to the wall, and how much risk can I take, because I can make, in this game, you can make make 3 critically bad decisions, and that would be what would kill you. So if they do 2, that's fine, we're still in the same round. Okay? So you do want to use life as a resource. It means that this changes how much risk you can take. Now, I'm not saying it means you have to go all risky. That's up to you as a player, about the way that you're comfortable and how you leverage your skills. But you can bet a little bigger just because of it, because of the life lead. But of course, now but it's the same principle. When you're near the wall, there's definitely things that you want to avoid taking big damage, because that's going to limit your spending power. That's going to limit your ability to make better, like, to try those harder reads, right? But the less life you have, the closer you are to death, the more things that can kill you. The closer you are to death, it just means more things can kill you. That's all it means. Okay? And by the time that any attack will kill you, well, now throwing is just so bad. And I do it only when I'm that super confident to overcome that fear or that risk. Try not to put fear into it. Just think of it as risk and reward. Try to think of it objectively. And so you want to use your life as a resource. Just like you want to use time as a resource. You want to use the space in the arena as a resource. Everything in the game is a resource. To get to the round. Like, all that matters is whether you win the round or whether you win the game, right? And so how you use that resource. Sometimes it's to build reads. Sometimes you're using you're just sitting there guard throw escape. Why? Because I'm going to watch what he does. You know? And I'm going to limit how much damage he does. Well, I just do this. What does he do if I just do this? Right? Make good use of your investments. Get the reward for your investments isn't just to kill them. The reward for your investments is the information from doing these little interactions. And sometimes I process them subconsciously a bit. Some players really process them consciously very well. You're definitely a player that can read people. So now, if you look at your life bar as a resource, I think for a player like you, you can build your reads deeper. The more you master this, the better you're able to build a better plan to how to win. You know? And the better you are able, but also, okay, the other resource, when you have more life than your opponent, you could just sit on it. You could play much more patiently. They have to do a lot more to win. So now you're putting them, now they're in a worse position. So you can kind of use that, if they're using bad options, I do encourage that to a degree. As long as it doesn't cost you the whole round itself, you can let them do, not bad options, but you can let them do lesser options. If you'd rather they do lesser options than better options, if you think that by punishing this thing they're going to do a better option, there's something to letting them use that option until the time is right for you to take the round or to save your round. Okay? And
that's interesting.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't think this one, and this one I've had to explain this to a lot of players this year, this summer especially, like online and at locals. Last night I explained it to because there's a player who has gotten really good at Street Fighter 6, but they're good mechanically. But they realized the trouble they're having is more the mind games, more of like that higher, that top level, right? When people make decisions. And I told him that the way that he was learning the game is correct. Like, you need to learn it that way. You have to root yourself in the fundamentals of the game, and you got to make sure you're doing all the good stuff and capable of it, before you can start. But then at some point, then you can apply the more this aspect that's more about. So those things are like strength and weakness. When you min-max, that's like strength and weakness. But this is going to fuel into, and Tricky and I talked about it on my stream like 2-3 weeks ago. They mentioned it in the chat. I brought it up, and Tricky was like, yes, I think of it this way too, right? It's in marketing, in organization, in management, we do what we call, in many things in life, we do what we call a SWOT analysis. Stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Strengths, what am I good at? What are my core competencies? What are the things I'm really good at? What makes me good? Weaknesses, that's self-explanatory. What are things I'm not so good at, right? These are the things that most players work on in a fighting game. And when you play, especially Street Fighter or Tekken or the popular fighting games, you pretty much have to work on this before anything else. VF is a little unique because you get straight into mind games in this game. You get straight into decision. Because in this game, it's not just outplaying what's good. It's not just like, oh, you got to learn the fireball trap, and then you got to learn how to deal with the people that are trying to overcome the fireball trap. Right? we're assaulting decisions directly in this game. This is rock, paper, scissors with a lot of weights and with many forms of rock, paper, scissors. This game is very directly... like, you have to learn to throw in this game eventually, because at some point, if you're only attacking and spacing, your opponent can just defend.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So then they have to throw you. And then now you have to learn to attack when they're going to throw you. Right? And that's Virtua Fighter. Virtua Fighter does it right away. Other games do get there, but it becomes much later. It becomes important after you've mastered that outplaying. Like, we're outplaying the fireball trap, we're outplaying this, we're outplaying that, right? Virtua Fighter, you go straight to that, and you gotta master other stuff. But like, it's when you get to that higher level, it's like that you really gotta start mastering all those things though that matter in other games first. But VF, you got to do the mind game first, because you got to win the rock, paper, scissors first. You got to understand that, like, this guy's turtling up, or this guy doesn't respect frames. What does it mean? It means that you should just, get an advantage and launch him. That's all that means, right? But now, that's strengths and weaknesses are those, like, I get good at combos, right? And how good's your defense? Can you throw escape? Those skills. Now there's opportunities and threats. In organization work, opportunities and threats, those are things that are outside the company, right? But they're activity related. What are the things we could be doing that's going to be giving us a lot more profit, right? And sometimes it's just outside and then the threats. What are the things that they can do to really... what are the threats against us? And then how do we mitigate them, right? So this becomes more about the battle plan, too. This has more to do with the decision making when it comes to Virtua Fighter. So I think on the Discord you saw that I talked about, like, Akira, right? And I talked about, like, at some point, if you ignore super dashing elbow, because that's the thing that breaks this idea. If you ignore super dashing elbow, there's a lot of these big threats Akira does that, like, you can guard, and they're slower, right? But the thing that's scaring you from guarding is guard break, right? So one form of defense is to literally not to guard, just to kind of play without guarding, and then guard on reaction to the slower stuff. And this way, the guard break just hits you instead. And if you get hit with jab, and you get hit with low punch, and you get hit with dashing elbow, you can still fuzzy guard. Okay? So this is a way to mitigate it and accept some lower threats while dealing with the bigger threats. Again, the thing that breaks this is super dashing elbow. Because super dashing elbow is super fast and will crumple you into a combo. so that's the thing that breaks this. And then 4-6P, if you were crouch dashing, you're probably gonna duck 4-6P. So, but that doesn't mean that's how you should always fight Akira. It really depends on what Akira is doing, but that is a way that you manage Akira's threats. That's one method, right? The other is what we talk. There's many ways, right? There's we can do 2G. 2G react to the slow. That's also really good. Still has the same problem of losing to super dashing elbow, but it's still really good. But the standard way to deal with 2G is to do is Akira to do like 3P and then throw you, and then 3P and then mix up, get you in Nitaku, and he's got a good Nitaku game. But then what's the other way? Evade, right? If Akira is doing super dashing elbow versus guard break, the evade just beats both, right? But then now he's delaying it, so this changes things. So now maybe we dash and we evade. Why? Because we can take those short hits, but we're trying to at least evade in time for the super dashing elbow, which is going to delay because he's doing forward, and stuff like that, So Akira really makes you think about, how am I going to manage these threats? And the reason it's so hard to fight him is because you can't just sit on one answer for defense. You'll get killed by a good Akira player. You end up having to mix all your defenses up. You have to go, okay, I'm going to just go Abari. Now I'm going to go do this. Now I'm going to use more evades. Now I'm going to take the hit, and then I'm going to guard the really bad stuff. right? Or I'm Leon, I just jab right away because if he low punches me, I jab him. Why? Because he can't do 4-6. If he counter hits me with low punch, one of his basics mix-ups is back forward punch and kick versus back forward punch kick guard. And that's basically a two-way like half circle right, half circle left. They're both a mid, and they're both like safe on block. So he wants to do this, right? But he wants to do it with at +7. So I'm Leon. I have an 11 frame jab, so I get counter hit by low punch, then I just jab him because it stops both of those things, you know, right? So again, it's about which threats are they actually putting out there? Which threats do we really need to prioritize, right? And you prioritize the big ones first. But sometimes if they win enough with the small ones, now you have to prioritize that, right? Now you have to cut that out. So this is a really important. Virtua Fighter gives you a lot of choices, and so learning how to manage those choices can help you. Now, if it causes you to be overly mental stacked and be like, I don't know what to do, that's worse. I don't want you to go into that. But from what I've seen, you're a very smart player. You're a very studious player, and you're building the knowledge base you're building the knowledge base incredibly. So the next step then, and I don't have as much knowledge as you do, actually. You have a deeper knowledge than me, I think, at this point on a lot of details. But when it comes to the combat management, like managing yourself and your performance, now it's like understanding. When I have more health, I can take more risks. Does it mean I do? Maybe not, but maybe I can try different things to get more information. Maybe I can try different approaches to see if this guy gets it or they don't get it, right? Maybe I can hang on defense, not because I'm trying to pick them apart, but because I'm trying to see their holes. I'm trying to see what it is, and sometimes I'm trying to see what they're going for. And I'd rather see what they're going for on round 1 than on round 5. Does that make sense? So this is like taking a long view and looking at how you understand the opponent. And sometimes it is reading, but if you can't read, you can condition. And if you can't do either, it's okay, but you can at least but you can still make some use of information and find an answer somewhere. And so using your life as a resource, using a round lead and a life lead as a resource can help you find that answer for when you really need it, you know? And then the rest is, well, how do I execute it? And that's the hard part. Some people, it's going to be a hard one. But I do think that when you start looking at the world as a world of options and as things you can try out, and that it's okay to take hits as long as it serves some purpose of information, I think if you do that, then it's a little easier to be relaxed, make some decisions, take some round losses, but then you become numb to those things that are frustrating. And instead of getting frustrated, you're just like, oh, okay, well, that's what they're gonna do. And, well, okay, so let's adjust things. And then when you feel it like that, when you get less passionate about the options you're doing, it makes it a little easier to mix up. It makes it a little easier to change your options. It makes it a little easier to try a different thing. Okay? But when you're telling yourself it's this bad habit and you gotta fight, and then that you gotta really get rid of this habit, that is so hard to do. Our mind doesn't want to do it. Instead, so for me, and maybe for some people it does work. Maybe some people do need to slap their own hand to do it, or slap their face. I slap my face to wake myself up. I don't do it to punish myself. Okay, that's just me waking myself up and being try to focus, right? But to change an option time, it's hard. I have a hard time too. But sometimes it's something like let's use poke throw. No, poke attack. I did poke attack, and when I did poke attack, he evaded me. Okay. If he successfully evaded me, I could be like, damn it, I always do that attack and it's so bad. We're not good at fixing it when we look at it like that. At least I'm not. But when I go, okay, so he evaded, well, if I did poke throw, that would work. Okay, let's try that again. Even though it might not work, but let's try it. So poke throw. oh, it worked, you know, and then it becomes just an option. It doesn't become something that you're fighting yourself over. You know what I mean? So, but it seems like you're the calm type, so I'm guessing that you're probably not the type that's like smacking at yourself and getting so angry that you're not making these adjustments. But you make a lot of adjustments, if I'm being honest. But
well, I try at least, but it's honestly, it's still kind of hard for me. Like, actually, I was wanting to ask you, how can I get to that point where I can like keep track of all these like small reads and what my opponent likes to do in this situation? Because like I feel like I'm thinking so much about like what I'm trying to do, and like, oh, if I'm near the wall, okay, let me check my hook position. Okay, if I do this, then I can knock them into the wall. Like, I'm trying to think about stuff like that.
My best guess is basically we each have our own mix of traits that makes us how we are and who we are. So it becomes just a management challenge. And so what that means is there's definitely some good things about the way that you process things. So try to work with it. Try to make it your friend, not your enemy. And at the same, just like I have some friends that are really fiery, and sometimes they play better when they're fiery. So it's like, okay, be fiery, just don't melt down. In your case, you have a lot of ideas. How to put this? My skill is actually not memorizing everything. Right? That's not my skill. I make it sound like that because I'm very detail oriented when I talk, and when I latch onto the things I do remember. And so I am detail oriented, but I don't remember the sequences perfectly. And a lot of times I've accepted that there are some things where I'm kind of going with my gut, but I'm trying to understand why my gut felt that way. So for me, I just kind of work on that and just kind of sometimes let my gut play it. And then, but sometimes it's really bad, right? Sometimes that's very prone to a blind spot. Nelly was in the chat earlier, and Nelly has helped me, like in matches, just point out that I'm playing too aggressively, but they'll say it in a nice way, and they'll just be like, oh, maybe this the hard part with being aggressive against Jackie is just you're just so strong, right? So it's like it's just kind of a nice way of telling me. You're playing too aggressively, and then I make the adjustment and it works. Sometimes you need directions more than like a better memory, but I think your memory seems quite good. But sometimes it's just a simple adjustment, like what to do, at least for me. But there are some players that can memorize whole matches. I wish I was like them. I wish I could memorize whole matches. There's players like Nelly who observes a lot and comes up with Nelly is a lot like Own Jeff in this regard. They're both really good at just observing you, and they do let you do your shit. They want to beat it. They're trying to beat it, but they do more or less let you do it. So they watch and they make plans, and usually their plans are so good. It's so scary. So scary and you make good plans too. Your plans always scare me. So today I'm like, man, this might be going back and forth all day, right? But that doesn't mean that like you have to be like that's so bad. It just means I have a feeling it's just more about just letting it go back into the cycle. Like, okay, we set aside this plan was a great plan. It's still a great plan. It just needs to come in at another game when I start seeing Chanchai go back to doing certain things again. And then and I think that happens. I think you do that to a degree, but your starting plan really, like, I really wasn't sure what to do there, But the really amazing player Renzo told me that I'm pretty good at figuring people out. I don't know about that. I think I'm good at feeling some stuff out, and I just kind of like, it's more a feeling than anything. Later on, I can explain some of it, but if I'm being honest, it's less I can't always put it into words when it's happening, you know? But I am eloquent enough that eventually I can come up with words to kind of convey what I was feeling, and I process it, and I'm like, what was that? And then I was like, oh, I think I know what it was. And then I'm just not too shy to say what I think it was. So I think that's why I'm able to communicate, you know. But if I'm talking about but there are players like Adam Yuki who just, oh my gosh, he writes the book of your. You know what? I have a notebook. I found it. I've got this binder from when I first met Nelly, when I first met Adam, when I first went to New York in 2000. And in it I wrote notes. And I wrote the notes and I wrote the notes of what Adam said to me about what my strengths and weaknesses were. And they're exactly true today. So, that didn't change.
Over 20 years is still the same?
Well, I mean, it's like I figured out how to fight better with them, you know. But they're still true. You know. It's still something I have to manage. But I also think in my life experience that's also true of people. And so sometimes being a better you is not completely changing you. It's finding a better way to work with you. You know? So, you know, and accepting it makes it a lot easier to do this. You know? But that said, we do make some changes, especially you're young. So I don't know what ethnicity you are, but I have a lot of young Asian American friends, right? And in my generation, and the generation after me, the millennials, a lot of them felt a lot of expectation from their first generation parents, right? And they were always, we always felt like we'd like to hear them kind of just praise us once in a while, or go watch our event or something, you know, or support us, talk to us the way that we see some of our other friends, their parents talk like their best friends or something, right? And then I told my young Asian American friends, you know, the thing that you learn is your parents aren't the ones that are going to change. They're like, what? I was like, you're the one that changed. He was like, what do you mean? And I was like, at some point you realize that you don't need your parents' approval, and all those complaints it's just advice. They're just giving advice, and you can take it or leave it, but it's just that. So the only person you need to please, the only person you need to feel satisfied or you did the right thing is you. You know. And they're like, okay, and it was a big deal for some of them, because some of them always felt this frustration that their parents don't get it. It's and so I was just telling them, it's you. You're the one that's going to change, because you're going to no longer need them to tell you. You're not going to need their approval. You're just going to realize it's just advice. But the one that you have to make sure is happy with your decisions is you. You know? And I think some people from some other cultures duh. But for a lot of Asian Americans, they were it makes them stop and think. You know? So when I tell them that. So, yeah. Hot Sauce Nelly says, VolcanoShed. One way that helps you keep track is to create the situation yourself. It seems easier to track your opponent's tendencies and habits when you are the creator of the situation. I agree with that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
You remember when I also said about the poke attack into poke throw? That's similar. That's a similar advice, but Nelly says it way better. But basically, it's instead of oh, every time I poke, I need to now do this other option. It's more oh, let's try to do it again, but let's create it. You know. But also Nelly's advice can be read the same way as what you already do. You're very good at labbing, I think. I'm under the impression that you lab, and I'm under the impression that you study. And so because of that, I think in your labs you've recreated situations as well. But I think what Nelly's saying is actually applying it to the battle and saying that you create the situation yourself. Because, for example, when I fight Deniso 201, right, typically he would and same as when I fight you, sometimes the challenge is okay, I do rising attack and I keep doing evade cancel there. That's hard, and I still do that. but sometimes I'm successful at just saying, you know what, let's do the rising attack on purpose and then just do a bari. You know, so, and that's so much easier than trying to correct it when it happens. You know, so creating the new situation sometimes is a lot easier. So and how I do this is when I identify that somebody is like throwing me in the Itaku, I will sometimes purposely put myself in the Itaku and do launcher. You know?
Oh.
And that was a lot easier than trying to dynamically fix the situation. Sometimes just like this is a game where you can put yourself in that weird situation and just do the other option. You know, and that's how you fight somebody that's reading you. You know, like the way you fight someone that's reading you is you give them what they want, but you know, everything has an answer. Well, you give them the answer too. You know, so sometimes you do it on purpose, and sometimes doing it on purpose is a lot easier than trying to fix it on the fly. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense, and
it goes hand in hand with use your life as a resource. You know?
Yeah. Although I do think there are like a couple situations that I believe that I feel like I was having trouble with against you. That it's kind of like I'm not sure like how I could recreate them myself, because like it's kind of dependent on what you're doing. Like for example, defending after getting hit by half circle forward P, or defending or like taking my turn after I block your like while rising 6P plus K, the like two-handed attack that has extra pushback.
Okay.
So yeah, those situations I feel like I can't really like recreate it myself. I just kind of have to like wait for you to do it.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's true. Well, because this is about decisions, because this is a mix-up situation, right? So if it's a mix-up situation, there is stuff you can do. So one, but I'll give you the shortcut, right? Half circle forward punch. If I hit you with that, 3K is generally really good, except Kage can jab it, right? Because 11 frame jab will win there. But that's a lot of risk. Why? Because from crouch 6P plus K, the two-handed poke is secure. What this tells you is that you really should defend, because the risk is too high to attack. So then the question is, how do you defend? Well, here's the thing. If I do the two-hand poke, it's evadable. And if I do the 3K, that's a half circular, so that's also evadable. Okay? So what's the risk of that? Well, I'll tell you right now. The risk is that if I'm crouching, I am constrained. So I might have to do throw, or I might have to delay. So I might have to forsake the side turn game. But you'd probably rather that. You'd rather take that consequence and do a guard and do evade throw escape towards his back, is what I would tell you is a really strong answer. But remember, it's not the only answer. It's just more that this is how you condition the Leon player. So you condition the Leon player with the good option. The good option is to evade to his back and do a throw escape while you're at it. Preferably the side throw escape, but if enough time passes, then you gotta do something else. Or evade cancel and then do the throw escape, you know. But generally, that's the good answer. Can I do other stuff about it? Absolutely. I can keep you stuck in side turn if I guess correctly. If I use like 1P plus K, you might be stuck in side turn. Right? For doing that. And if I do half circle forward punch again, then you're going to be in side turn again. You're not going to be back turn, but you're going to be side turn again, right? Here's the thing though. I'm going to tell you a secret. So, I'm going to tell you about Leon. Half circle forward punch leaves him crouched. And I'm going to tell you, Leon, when Leon is at your side, he would much rather be standing than crouched. And this is simply because 6P plus K would be a very nice option to have. But I can still do stuff like kick plus guard, but then you might be able to, I haven't tested if you can ECD that. Or if you can evade dash guard that. I don't know if you can. I don't think you can. I think it's too much disadvantage after I hit you with half circle forward punch. You do know that half circle forward punch itself is a risk. So if you can block the half circle forward punch, you should punish him. Now this is hard. In your case of your Kage, of course you would rather do 9k plus G, but you can at least turn it into a good situation for yourself by blocking it, even though Kage's crouch block punishment sucks. But you can at least turn it into a game, right? Kage can do a lot of things in this situation. Of course, crushing lows is his better answer. But again, half circle forward punch is punishable on block. But then if you do get hit by it, evading to Leon's back is really good, but I do have options there. If you're near a wall, I can delay and push you into the wall, and that's just as bad, right? So you have to consider those things, but once Leon is standing, his side turn game is a bit more intimidating, actually. Just because it has more options that are viable for it and can call out stuff, but you're stuck in a guessing game. But if you guess right, you can really punish him too. You can totally punish him. But if you evade to his front, it's okay, but it loses. The 3K is doing a lot of damage. It gets you to the wall and can wall combo you, or not wall combo you, but can wall stagger you. So you got to get ready for the wall stagger when he side turns you into the wall. Okay. So this is about threat management. This is really okay. When somebody plays a stance game, it's a threat management. It's a threat management problem. How do we cut down the threat? And then, after you solve the threat management, how do I capitalize? How do I really punish him for certain decisions? That's the analysis. But the threat management is a big one. So if you min-max, sometimes you're min-maxing the wrong thing because you're min-maxing the damage, but that feeds into it. It's not the wrong thing. It's just that you're only doing part of the solution. But the threat solution is when you have enough skill, there's other things that come into play, right? ECD comes into play. Evade canceling comes into play. Delaying comes into play. Taking the hit can be a factor. Sometimes taking the hit's better, you know. But what we do know, though, is attacking is almost a no-no. Why? Because of the two-handed poke. And because I think only Aoi can reverse the two-handed poke. I don't think anyone else can do anything about the two-handed poke.
Yeah. Usually, like, yeah.
Aside from
almost
evade.
like every Sabaki loses to two-handed stuff.
Yeah. So like Sabaki isn't a solution, right? But evade is a big solution. But again, if you're near the wall, then it's just then less considered, you know. But the other thing is when you're at the wall, evade canceling is a pretty good option. Every option in VF has a weakness. But it's just more about thinking about what you're willing to take or how you get out of the situation, right? And so like evade cancel is it's not the only thing, but it's one of those tools that's going to help you. But you have to look at like 3 or 4 different options and get comfortable using all 4 of them, you know. Just a matter of practice and a matter of letting that situation happen sometimes. In the sparring sessions, let the guy get you to the wall, you know, and just practice how you deal with fighting it at the wall, you know. Same as the ring out, you know, just embrace it. The more you hate, well, a lot of the people that that outwardly hate situations, they have a hard time dealing. But some of them are good, you know. No, Tricky actually likes all the wonky stages. So do I. So we don't count there. But yeah, hope that helps. Hope that makes some sense.
It makes sense. Okay, so after hearing all that, I'm starting to think, maybe, alright, well, 11 frame P being able to interrupt 3K, that's cool, but maybe
it's not. But the problem is the two-handed poke is too much of a risk. So you gotta really call it out. Like, again, that doesn't mean it's never good to do it. That doesn't mean that. It just means that like you better be very sure that they're going for that sidekick or they're going for anything but that, right? But then you accept. But again, if they only do that one time the whole time, but you still won the game, you're fine. That's life as a resource. That's rounds as a resource even. Okay. Because if you get it, put it this way. Okay. Nowadays you're mixing up the way you wake up to a decent degree. And that's good. That's really great. That's important because the person that never does that doesn't give their opponent the opportunity to choose, to make a bad choice, to make a bad guess, right? Sometimes there will be a spot where it's not bad or it's fine to do the jab, but the problem is the jab is not much of a reward for you.
Yeah.
Right? So you're like, why are you doing this? Like, evading the sidekick would have been so much better, right? And yet evading the two-hand poke is really good. It is really punishable. I'm going to tell you that. And so this is going to feed into even at the wall situation. You know what? He's doing delay hand poke. What if I delayed evade? You know? So, you know. So it's one of those where if I'm predictably going for that, then understand that two-handed poke is evade punishable. So it's just, it might be hard to evade it at the right times to make sure, to guarantee that it is. But you know what? If the thing that you want to punish it was a mid, it's still good as a mix-up option, right? Mids are very secure. So evading into a mid is always good. If that's what you got, oh, it's so good anyways. So even if it's like -9, or even if it's like -9 on the side turn, well, technically jab would be good there. But the problem is jab can be ducked, right? But low punch is good, it's guaranteed. But do they really want to go for low punch? They might be wanting to go for more. So, you know, then you're like, well, okay, it's worth doing this thing. So the risk-reward analysis, you want to measure measure all the alternatives. Don't just look for the best. Looking for the best is too many blind spots. Really look, explore all the different options, and then also try to find the utility of it. Does this option, how many threats does this thing manage, right? And maybe this is the better option, right? This is, you know, that's the reason the Japanese sometimes do a lot of things like jab and yutaku and stuff like that, right? Because sometimes they're just like, you know, I just don't want the risk. I'll win another way, but I'm just not playing that guessing game, right? So stuff like that, and because your default position seems to be a little more on the patient side or defense, then maybe that is something worth even more for you, right? Is when is it better to just jab? But I think Kage is really good at crushing. I think Kage is really good at setting up counter hits. I think in the case of Kage though, like it's hard work if you try to play him like an Akira, right? You got to play him like Kage, so you still have got to make some critical choices. But I do think you play him great. I think you're a good fit with him. It's just one of those where you want to build a lot of reads with him, because just like with Aoi, the more reads you have with Kage or with Aoi, the more they're scary actually, and the more interesting they are too as characters. It's a lot more fun too. So and so all these different techniques to manage threats, to manage multiple threats. Not all of them. It's impossible to manage all. If you could manage all, we wouldn't call it a mix-up, you know?
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be much of a fighting game either. Well, it might be like too many other fighting games, right? So, but this is a fighting game that constantly gives you choice. And so the only time it doesn't give you choice is like, you know, when Paul like knocks you down and does like quarter circle back P plus K, so that you just literally have to stay down, you know, or block it and then deal, you know. But you only have those two choices. That's the only time when you don't have much choice, you know. So, but for over 99% of situations in this game, you have choice. So keep at it. But I would say, the way that you study this game, I love that you do that, and I think it's amazing. I think it's something that you just keep doing that. That's, you know,
Okay.
and keep trying stuff out, and at some point you're gonna be able, when you use the game's resources, the life lead, the life bar, the round counts, all of that. When you use all of that to help you study during the match, I think you're gonna find that it becomes easier to make smarter decisions in the match. And I think you're the type of player that can do that. So I think, but I do think that today I was successful, and I think for many times I will be when we fight. I was successful in getting you really focused on certain things, and then and then I think you had a hard time feeling like you could find the answer. But I do think that this process, using the full resources, will help you for that, especially long set battles. I encouraged long set battles a lot in this game. All of the really strong players they all really love the long set battles, and it's because you actually get the most growth in them. I think you start mastering parts of the matchup, and you get enough testing situations to try the difficult techniques.
Yeah. The main reason I asked for like a first to 10 or like a first to 20 on Octagon is because like I really wanted to get used to like trying to apply all the like wall setups, and also like checking the hook position so I could use the right half circular.
Yeah, so exactly. And so so first to 10s, first to 20s are good. They're really good tests, so you definitely need to do them as tests because they're the closest we have to like the real competitive format of the game. Like the most natural competitive format of the game is like a first to 10 or a first to 20. But if you want to go in-depth training, I do agree with what Himajan was suggesting and what the Japanese players do, which is 50 game gauntlets. Like, it's not about winning as many battles, it means committing to playing 50 games. And for me and Dennis, okay, so here's the thing. Dennis 201, and I spar with him a lot, right? And Y2D, and a lot of players. We're used to playing 200, 300, 400 games. Like, that's not like it's because of family and work stuff or whatever that like I'm not always streaming until like 7 in the morning. But there's been many people now that have seen my stream until 7 in the morning from 11 or 10 p.m. And it was literally almost all VF, just maybe a couple bathroom breaks and go get a snack, or maybe watch other people play. Now I'm not saying that's what you have to do. 50 games is a lot faster than that, and there's definitely diminishing returns, so that's why 50 games is really good. Okay. Focusing on the 50 games, you're not focused on the win count, though you look at that and you like it. You're focusing on the amount of games so that you can see how things play out, so you can try stuff out, so you can start seeing how. Remember, I told you, Virtua Fighter Battle, it's like season changes. It's not like just, oh, better, worse, better, worse, better, worse. It's not. Better, worse is what you do at the intermediate level. It's what you do at the advanced level too. But at the pro level, it is a much deeper game. It's much getting into your opponent's head. It's much knowing them. Like, you know my game a lot. But if knowing was all it took, that's different. Then you would be winning this a lot more. You know how to beat the stuff I do, a lot of them. But knowing isn't the whole thing. It's that this is a game of decision making and countering decision making. And when to do it and why to do it, And that fluctuates because this game is rock, paper, scissors. And because it's rock, paper, scissors, okay, I'm attacking a lot now and it's working well, but now I better throw more. And then now I better attack again. Okay, now I'm doing tech. Okay, but tech has an answer too, right? And what is beautiful about this game that I told other people at locals this weekend was that in this game, and what I said on the Twitter post and on the Discord, which is that in this game, a lot of the advanced techniques that we build, Those are all like threat management techniques. Those things, like, they make us lose less. They don't really make us win more. You know what I mean? So we're winning. So if we're winning more from it, it's because we're losing less. And that's what's beautiful about the design, because it doesn't make it like crushing. It's not like, okay, you just like it does make it hard to beat the really strong player, but it doesn't make it impossible. And the matches are still great, and the gambler can still win on gambling. The aggressive player can still win aggressive. You know? But they just have to be smart about it. They have to read the wind, just like in golf. You know, they have to get a sense of, is it working or not? Better change my plans. You know, if you keep a lot of Western players look at things so linearly, so they're like, oh, he was better, oh, I was wrong, and it makes sense in Tekken. In Tekken, that game just makes you feel so bad, because when you lose to something that's so basic, you get mad in that game. Why? Because there's not much room to stray from it. There's not that much room. There's a little room. There's quite a bit of room, but you have to earn so much respect for the two players to play that game. At least one thing that's cool is Street Fighter 6 actually got it to where it's possible to be playing those mind games and changes a little more sooner, but at the same time, you still got to play core stuff, and you still got to really punish non-best options, you know? But it still does get there a little more than even past Street Fighter games. It's not just outplaying, right? And Virtua Fighter just starts on the ground floor with having to beat the player. Not just outplay the character, not just outplay the matchup. It's not just the matchup. If it was just the matchup, I think different people would be the best of the game. It's outfighting your... It's kind of outwitting your opponent, but sometimes it can be outskilling them. You know, sometimes this game balances the skill and decision really well. So it balances both, but you need a combination of both. And it's really attacking decisions at the core, but of course you can use skill to make the odds more in your favor. But even then, they're really good at threat mitigation, but they're not outright winning the situations, right? You can get good at ECD, but ECD is nothing if you can't whiff punish the highs, or you can't like make something of it. But you got to at least get a positive return on when you did ECD. Did you cash in when it worked, right? Did you pressure appropriately, or just flat out win the situation? When you ducked the high, when you evaded the attack, you know, when you cut down their option, did you make use of it? The ECD by itself is not going to give you that win. So you have to be able to situation confirm. Same with the Vade, same with everything. So this game does a really good job of, you can invest in a lot more skill-based stuff, but at the same time, the core fundamentals are still what wins the game. So, and the fundamentals are about the decision making. It is a lot about that. But there is a ways to cut down multiple threads and make it really, really hard, you know. But it doesn't win by itself. It just makes it hard for the opponent to get their win condition to work.
Yeah.
So like 9P, right? Vanessa's 9P is really good, but at a high level, it should be mostly limited to crushing lows, because when you use it in the neutral, if the opponent can it's slow, and at some point the opponent can get fast enough to where they can evade it on reaction or duck on reaction, right? And on top of that, if they're already crouch dashing, well, they're ducking, and if they're already doing ECD, well, they're evading it, and even if they fail ECD, they still crouch under it, right? So now it's not so much a neutral tool. It's I know you're doing a low attack at high level, you know? And it can still be used in the neutral, but you got to mentally stack the opponent first. Just like Leon's guard break would suck if it weren't for the fact that, you know, you put pressure on people until they guard so much, and then you bring that out, and they just like are like, what? You know, and they get guard broken. But it takes a lot of work to do guard break. I don't just do it all the time, unless I feel like the opponent is just going to keep just standing guard, right? And that's why then you start using other ways to move. There are risks when you're learning a new technique. When you first learn ECD, it can be the worst technique because you don't know what to do with it and you get hit out of it. But the more you do it in battles, especially you play long set battles against the same opponent, you're gonna develop techniques. You're gonna get stronger at techniques and option selects because you're just more likely to see the same situation. And it's not. That's the difference. In VF, you learn how to manage those situations. It doesn't mean that you've solved the situation, that it can never be a problem for you anymore. Because it's going to come back in cycles. It's going to come back. The game is going to keep you distracted with so many other options. And so it's hard to track everything. But you can play in a super safe way that mitigates all the threats, and then that's hard. Or you can play in a very assertive way that finds people's weaknesses really fast and goes after them. And that's kind of, I usually try to do that, but sometimes I'll play more defensively. I think a lot of my offline opponents are really, I think, they realize when they fight me that I'm actually very strong at defense too. I'm not the best at defense. It's just that generally, when people watch my matches from afar, it might not look like as much defense because of all the movement and the attacks. But then again, you hear people, some people have a hard time throwing, some people have an easier time throwing. But yeah. But let's see here. Okay, Lightning Dragon's going really good. Yeah, it's fun showing these matches. But anyways, any other questions? I'm gonna go hang out with my kids a little.
Oh yeah.
But I really enjoyed this a lot, and thanks for letting me ramble on and on. But I enjoyed chatting about this stuff. So last night I was chatting at locals. I chatted till 3 in the morning. So,
oh wow.
So out in the cold too. Like it was actually a cold evening, but people have seen me ramble till 5 in the morning. So. And 7 in the, and like I said, old VF gatherings and even sessions with some other players playing VF till 7 in the morning, So if you, I do think like it helps me because it helps me play. As I've mentioned it before, a lot of people are so focused about being in peak condition. And yes, when you're competing in tournaments, you want to manage your top performance. You want to manage your performance, period. But I also believe that you can improve your skill floor. What is my minimum skill level? That's pretty strong. Like, how good am I going to play even when I'm dead tired, when I can't think straight? And I think, actually, my skill floor is not bad. I think it's pretty good. But then also, and that happens from a number of things. That's playing under rough conditions. That's playing even when you're not feeling it, though I'm not telling you to do that. You don't have to do that. But, like, I can play until I need to sleep, and even then, we're still playing. And I usually am the player that wins in the matches when everybody is so dead tired, and I end up, like, winning streaks because I can still play even when I'm, like, half dead awake, It's happened a lot, and so I'm not saying you have to play all those matches, but I am saying that playing that way, playing when you're distracted, playing on stream, playing in an arcade environment that's loud, playing in a quiet arcade, maybe the most awkward would be playing in front of your family, but but playing but some people do that and it's strong, but all these things do contribute to building your skill and managing your performance, but also of course taking care of your health. Yes, for a tournament you should absolutely be putting yourself in the best position possible, but you also need to be able to weather the storm, because champions can win even when they're not in the best conditions, and it's been proven time and time again in competitive sports. So, but you should be trying to manage your performance so that you do come into the tournament with the best condition and that you peak at the right time during the tournament. And I think I've been doing that at some tournaments lately, this year. I think all the tournaments I played this year, I've been able to do that. Even in the ones that I got second place. I think there's only one tournament I got second place this year. but
Ready, go!
but I've been able to do that. But again, it's not just about that. It's I'm relaxed. It's easier to relax and get into that peak performance because I feel like sometimes like, okay, I'm not feeling my best. What I do, and that's almost every tournament at the first game, and I kind of just you manage your performance. You're like, this is what I'm good at right now, but this other thing is not working, so I'm gonna park it. But from my experience, when I feel like it's ready, I'll bring it back out. And that's again performance management.
Round 2.
It's not just I was not at my best, so I lost. You got to try to find the win even when you're not at your best, and you still got to compete even when it's not the most fun. You know, at least if your goal is to perform your best in the event. You know, but I go play around the world, and the conditions are always different. I almost played on a hitbox, or because I didn't want to bring an arcade stick to France. Fortunately, Kingo still had their PS3 and had a PS3 stick that they won in a tournament that they never played because they play on pad. You know,
Oh, wow.
so I got to use a stick when I played Kingo, and thank goodness, because those matches were awesome. But it was also like there was no way those matches would be awesome. Well, they could still be awesome on the hitbox, but it just wouldn't feel the same. You know, and I would definitely get smoked. So, but because of all the crap that like those matches were so fun. They were so fun. But then I go to Japan and I play at Evo Japan, but I know that they're using the in-zone monitors, which can be a little laggier than the monitors most people use at home that are competitive. So I brought my launch PS4, and we practiced in the room. Practiced with Rental Animator, with Shag, and with Setsuna in my hotel room. And I feel like that gave me a lift in the Evo, and where it felt like that, you know. But then I go to Arcade Mikado on the Sunday, right? And Arcade Mikado, this is like the hardcore place, one of the hardcore places to play VF in Tokyo, and it's on Sanwa sticks, which I know, but they're really beat up Sanwa sticks. These are so worn down, it's like there's no spring, and that's okay for me. I had no problem because you have to manually pull it to neutral, but I'm used to doing that. I've done it over the years. And so I just know how to get more violent how to use more violent technique to ensure that you're hitting neutral in directions. But at the same time, but Final Showdown on the arcade runs at a different speed. Those are Lindbergh arcade cabinets. They're slower. Like, if you want to know, I swear that's a laggy setup.
Round 2.
So everyone's thinking, oh, it's got to be the fastest. It's like it's a different timing, even from from when we're playing an emulator, and that's okay. This game, I think this game's designed in a way that, for most people, they could, if they practice enough, could learn to adapt to these different conditions. Why? Because it's a lot of when you get good at buffering and then get good at delaying, well, you're doing all you need. Right? You're already doing a kind of lag management, just doing that. You're learning this game. Variable timing is important because delaying is, you can buffer delays, and you can buffer ECD to do extra delay with a built-in evade, right? So like this game already makes you do all that stuff when you get to the higher level, and by buffering, guaranteeing that you're gonna be more frame tight, then use buffer. And then there's so many tools that in this game, at some point, each player that has played this game enough has gone to a point where they've had to kind of adjust their tools, They've had to just adjust the tools that they have and go, you know what, this is working for me, this is not working for me. Okay, I just have a lot of experience doing it, and I'm willing to do that. But a lot of people get mad when they can't use their best tools, when their best tools aren't winning. And I'm like, well, let's just try something else. Because this game, there's a lot of tools. I really
Yeah.
believe that over 99% of the moves in this game are useful. So, you know. Go ahead. Sorry, I'll let you speak.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say I can definitely see that because like there are definitely times where like I'm playing and I'm like, man, I cannot hit the 46k plus GKK just frame to save my life. I'm just gonna do APK instead.
Nelly was asking, do you record your matches?
Do I record my matches? Yes, I usually do. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I usually set up like a I used to set up like a YouTube stream when I play. I'm not like broadcasting to anyone else. I'm just like having it so that like,
you're
saves the
using it like the way
archive.
people use replay feature. That said, when people complain about
Yeah.
replay feature, I kind of go, you know, in the future of VF6, if there are patch updates, you know, patch updates render replays unusable usually. But I do want replay takeover. I do really like that's a must. It must have replay takeover.
Yeah.
Because replay
Yeah, that
takeover
was-
is a game changer. A lot of people fix. Well, the problem is then they might go min max a little hard, but they'll go min max. They'll go option hunting in the right way with replay takeover because you get to try options. Replay takeover is amazing. If the next VF is as good of a game as this, then I'm so happy, and that it will have replay takeover and other modern features. You know, I know that's a big ask, but I've also said that if it's not as good, well, I'll support it. But I love this game, and you know, this game has made me happy with gaming in life. So you know, it's like. I love that this game, there's a way around everything in VF. 100% assassin. 100%. It's what I try to tell people, and it's hard for them to understand until they actually play VF enough, right? Where it's like, in this game, almost everything, more than 99% of everything in this game has multiple good answers to it. Multiple and good.
Yeah.
The only time that there's not is when it's like an oppressive Okizeme situation where you're stuck at the wall. It's like you've got one answer here, you know. Even at the wall, it's still a choice. But the Okizeme is like, okay, you've got one answer here, you know, like, or you've got like two answers, but you know, but if I can get them, if I defend enough, at some point they'll get greedy, and if I can read when they get greedy, we're okay. You know. So. Yeah, keep at it, Assassin. Keep doing what you're doing. Look, we are winning locals more and more. It takes time, and some locals will come and go and come back. That's okay. You know, some of our most dedicated locals right now are players who have gone and come back too. Nelly is a player who has gone and come back. So you know, I'm a player who has gone and come back. So be patient. Just keep spreading the love. It does win people over, and scenes build, you know? So, yeah. Yeah, we play forever, yeah. Right now we're not playing, we're just watching matches, you know? I think we've seen a match of yours in here. So, yeah. I just turned it on for the chats, you know? I found out, you know what's awesome about VFTV? You can put it on and chat, you know? And,
Yeah.
But if you don't chat, it's not a fun stream, so you gotta chat, you know? But, yeah, but I do love VFTV being in here, and it's like, you know what? Let's put some background visuals and let's talk. You know?
Yeah.
But
It's nice, yeah.
it's really good. And also, now you and I are appreciating that we can actually select the stages in this because we could not in Final Showdown.
Oh yeah.
It's like, really? We played all that time and you couldn't select stages in Final Showdowns online? You could offline, but you couldn't do that online? So, you know?
Yeah.
So, otherwise, we actually would have recorded these. But I'm glad that we ended up streaming this on the PS5. But I will have a stream set up on my computer pretty soon, so that we can stream also the matches going on our PCS3. But I do love supporting this the most, and this has the best online modes. The room battles are a lot better on this. for some reason when you do Final Showdown room battles, it's like it feels like the game is trying to compensate for the worst connection, the worst pair of connections in there, and so then everybody lags, you know. So, but whereas this game, it seems like it's mostly contained to the players that are playing. So, all right, I'm gonna head out. But if you have any other questions, send me a DM. Let me know, because I'm happy to answer those questions. You know, I'm obviously happy to answer questions because I can talk forever. But I think my kids are waiting for me. I'm gonna go spend some time with them. But this turned out to be a really great way to do that workshop I had talked about, because I think we talked about some good subjects, and I think we had really good balance. Sure. All right, good night, everyone. Have a good one. Play more VF. Please support. And you know, I understand when people are frustrated about VF6 and stuff like that, and you know, but when the time comes, it'll come. And at the same time, we have this effing amazing game still, so nothing's going to take away that effing amazing game unless something crazy happens with the world. So, you know. So
unless Sega decides to shut down the online servers.
I don't think they can. I don't even think they would even pay for the lawyers to do it. So, you know. Nintendo might actually, because Nintendo actually, but I actually respect Nintendo in that they have a strong sense of whatever it is they're about, and so they just go, you know, like they just think in that bubble, you know. And I know it pisses off fans a lot. I get that too, but I'm like, well, there's no doubt that Nintendo tries really hard to not allow bad things to happen to children if they can help it, and at the same time, they are like, they care. It's just that they see themselves as a toy company when it comes to the video games, right? And not every video game maker sees themselves as a toy company, but Nintendo does. But they take it like they have like a world view about it, so you know. But and it's just how they are. But I definitely get, you know, I understand the frustrations, because it's like you can't have all these nice things, right? But then you also think some of those nice things are actually really hard to sustain. And I think Nintendo actually made a stance on that, and it is a harsh one, but it was something where I think they felt like they couldn't really sustain like esports as something that would sustain the people in it, and so they just made a call that they're just not doing it too. You know, maybe they'll change their mind, but I'm gonna tell you, it's really hard to do. So you know. It's hard to sustain a life on that without some like crazy arrangement happening, or someone investing $1 million into the prize pool, you know. So yeah. All right, have a good one. Good luck. Keep on training, and thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, thank you, Chanchai. Good games, and yeah, have a good night.
Good night. Cheers. All right, everyone, thank you so much. I had an awesome time with VolcanoShed, and you know, I thought they're always good matches. But I do think more people should play long set battles. I think Colorado players do that. I think Assassin and Bushido, like, I think it shows that they have real battles and glowing matches, and so their games have really evolved a lot. They're really strong now, just like VolcanoShed is really strong. As we talked about already, you know, Paul's ridiculously strong. Owen Jeff is really strong. Genesis Frenzy was strong right away. So yeah. Alright. Tengu Man also really strong. I love fighting Tengu Man. I want to fight Tengu Man again soon. And I want to fight Nelly again soon too. Yeah, PS Plus getting more expensive, so yeah. Well, every service was going to, right? So now Xbox has gotten more expensive too, and it will get more expensive. Trust me, that's happening across the board of every online service. A lot of investors no longer accept growth as the justification for not having profit. So it's, you know, there's a lot of dynamics to this. The cost structures changed on data centers too. Well, we're playing it on PC, but yeah. So, you know. what it is. So, yeah. Alright, everyone have a good one and cheers. Thank you very much. So good to see you all.
Excellent.
Actually, let's do a raid. We got a raid today. Thank you, iFix Machine, for the raid. And Shinosha, when you're doing a raid. Who is raid?
Better run home to Mama now.
You know what? I am going to send you guys to Tiger Uppercut. There's a lot of people I know that are participating in that. It's in Thailand, right? So let's support somebody that is restreaming Tiger Uppercut. Yeah, let's support it. Why not?
Round 2. Ready, go! Knockout! Round 3. Ready, go!